Back now to our breaking news. A curfew is soon going to begin in Los Angeles. It's the sixth night now of clashes over President Trump's ICE raids. You've probably seen the pictures of demonstrators waving Mexican flags. Those defending it say that it symbolizes pride in their Mexican heritage, but Republicans are seizing on this imagery. Congressman Jim Jordan said, "We fly American flags in America." Vice President J.D. Vance called the protesters insurrectionists carrying foreign flags. Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller, also pointed out that the flags and described L.A. as, quote, an occupied territory. And here is what the White House said earlier today.
Left-wing radicals waving foreign flags viciously attacked ICE and Border Patrol agents as well as Los Angeles police officers. These attacks were aimed not just at law enforcement, but at American culture and society itself.
Foreign flags, a problem, suddenly.
My father is a Mexican immigrant to America. He came to America in the 1960s. He is proud of his heritage and proud of his culture. But when he sees a Mexican flag flying on the streets, he gets offended. I'm going to tell you why. He says, when I was coming through the process to become a legal resident and finally a U.S. citizen, he never was opposed to flying the Mexican flag in Mexico, but he felt that this was a country that gave him everything. It gave him an opportunity. It gave him a place to raise his family. He is now an American. And when he sees those flags, he gets offended. And by the way, I think the Democrat Party is getting hurt by this because this doesn't do them it doesn't help them at all. Because come the midterms, those images are going to be everywhere. We're in America. You want to fly a flag? You fly the American flag. If you want to fly the Mexican flag, put it under the American flag. That's that's America. That's who we are. And the poll that CNN just put out on Monday, 50% of Hispanics who are legal and registered to vote are voting for Donald J. Trump.
Well, look, I take your point about your dad. I think it's also, you would have to point out that there was a very prominent day, I'm not even going to say what day it was, when many Trump supporters were running around with foreign flags, the Confederate flag, the rebellion flag. You've got the flag of pre-revolutionary Iran flying around for who knows what reason. Another flag, the South Korean flag at a Harrisburg Trump rally just the day before that day that I will not mention the date of. So, you know, I'm not going to, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't have a dog in this fight. I just, all of a sudden, flying foreign flags is a problem now, but it really wasn't a problem before.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like a bit of a contrivance. Like, Mexico is an ally of the United States. Like, seeing the Mexican flag doesn't offend me in any way, shape, or form. But I would agree with you that it is a problem optically for Democrats. And quite frankly, I think Democrats do have a bit of an issue when it comes to these protests. From the Black Lives Matter demonstrations to the pro-Palestinian demonstrations, like, the fact that there seems to be a kind of regular cadence with which you have these pretty explosive, often chaotic demonstrations is not something that I think goes unnoticed. And to the extent we talk about the problem of political violence and incivility in our country, like the footage that you've amassed, there's certainly January 6th, and it's always worth talking about that. It's also worth talking about the fact that Democrats have a legitimate issue with these problems as well. There's been one January 6th. There was weeks and weeks and weeks of Black Lives Matter chaos, weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's still ongoing of the pro-Palestinian demonstrations. And now we're seeing another installment of that right now, which is perhaps the reason why we're not seeing a lot of high-profile celebrities. They may make statements on Instagram, but they're not showing up.
I would also argue that three of those very profound movements or arguments that you were talking about happened under the watch of Donald J. Trump. I want to get his middle initials.
Sure.
Correct.
But
so if you're talking, but I'm just letting you know. I mean, but a lot of it had to do with the ineptitude of leadership or the way that was handled because of the incendiary rhetoric that we're hearing. And I actually appreciate your father's story, right? I think that we all come from a story, and that's moving. And I dare not be able to be sitting in your shoes and tell you what that flag means to your father or anyone else. So I wouldn't try to do that. What I will do, though, is cast a stone at the press secretary, because I think that's the problem. It's not the way that you see it. It's not the way that your father sees it. But it's the way that she uses that to galvanize right versus left, and she uses that as a wedge issue, and she says that this is foreign and that's that. And so I understand the pride and heritage there, and I respect you for actually bringing that to my attention, because my argument was going to be vastly different, and that's why this show was pretty impressive. But the fact that she actually went to the podium and utilized that as a wedge issue to drive that difference between immigrants and illegal immigrants, between your father and other people who are here illegally, between Democrat and Republican, I think is a problem.
But also, what about if you live in New York City, when you go through parade season, what about the Irish flag? I'm part Irish. We roll out the Irish. No. But not, maybe for you, but not for people who are proud of their Irish heritage and proud of their immigrant story here. And so, we see flags. My point is, particularly here in New York City, you see people flying flags from different countries. That does not mean they don't love America. That does not mean they aren't loyal to America. It means they're proud of their story
we
and what it means to them.
At demonstrations.
Batia, I got to give you the last word, and then we got to go. Yeah.
I'm really moved that you changed your mind because of his story. It's going to stay with me for a long time.
I had to make a better argument, a more cultured argument.
I really appreciate it.
I do appreciate that. One thing I would note, Abel, as you were talking, it is also true that, there was a time when, older Latinos didn't want to teach their kids Spanish. Would you acknowledge that even a younger generation just has a different approach to some of these things, like the flag, like the language, like all of it?
No doubt, it's different times, 100%. It's a totally different time. But this waving the flag, I think it hurts. It hurts the cause. It hurts what they're trying to do, and it sends the wrong message. Tom Homan, if you want to go back to Mexico and carry the flag, he'll take you there for free. That's
all right, guys. Downtown Los Angeles is just minutes away now from a second night of curfew. The LAPD has declared an unlawful assembly outside of City Hall. CNN is there. We will update you on the latest. That's next.